The orbital station of Calderis Prime was a living city in the void. Tens of thousands of beings passing through daily, each from different worlds and species. It had seen smugglers, traders, refugees, dignitaries, and soldiers. But rarely had it seen something as strange as the sight that caught the attention of Security Officer Joran that day. He had just finished reviewing docking permits when he noticed her. A tall alien woman with skin the color of burnished bronze, moving gracefully across the promenade. What made him stop wasn't her presence. Calderis Prime saw thousands of exotics every day, but the pack of cubs trailing behind her. They weren't her species. They weren't even the same species as each other. There were 3 furry, wolfish younglings, a scaled reptilian hatchling, and even a humanoid child with feathered wings half folded. They padded behind her silently, eyes fixed on her, as though pulled by some invisible thread. Joran frowned, activating his wrist comm. "Control, patch me to patrols. We've got a potential trafficking situation on Deck 12. 2 security officers intercepted the woman near the central fountain, where neon lights shimmered off cascading water. Joran followed, his boots heavy against the polished metal. "Ma'am," the taller officer said, stepping in front of her, "we need to ask you about the children." The alien woman tilted her head, her expression serene but unreadable. Her eyes were a startling silver like molten quicksilver. The cubs and children clustered closer to her legs, some holding her garments, others crouching protectively near her boots. "They are not mine," she said in a voice low and calm, with the faintest musical lilt. "That's the problem," Joran interjected, stepping forward. "Station law is clear. Unaccompanied minors of multiple species don't just wander around behind strangers. So I'll ask directly, why are they following you?" The woman's gaze didn't waver. "They don't follow," she said simply. "They choose." Beginning, whispers of the unnatural. The words unsettled Joran more than he expected. He'd heard excuses from traffickers, runaways, and worse. But never something like that. He gestured sharply. "Take her in for questioning." The cubs reacted instantly. The feathered humanoid spread her tiny wings wide, standing between the officers and the woman. The reptilian hatchling hissed, tail whipping the floor. The wolfish younglings bared teeth. Joran froze. In all his years, he had never seen such disparate species act with one mind. Usually, children of different worlds squabbled, fought, or ignored each other. These acted like a pack. The alien woman placed a hand on the feathery child's shoulder. The hostility melted into quiet alertness. "If I come with you," she said softly, "they will follow. That is their way." The officers exchanged uneasy glances. But protocol was protocol. She was escorted to the security office, with 5 cubs trailing silently behind. Inside the interview chamber, Joran studied her more closely. Her clothes were travel-worn but not ragged, a flowing garment of deep green fabric that shimmered faintly as though woven from living fibers. The children sat clustered at her feet, watching him with unnerving intensity. "Name?" Joran asked, pulling up a datapad. "They call me Serenia," she replied. "Species? I am of the Kalan. But the name will mean nothing to you." She wasn't wrong. Joran searched the registry. No such species listed. That wasn't unusual in itself. The galaxy was vast and many cultures preferred anonymity. But something about her calm unsettled him. "Fine. For Serenia. The cubs. How did you come to be with them?" Her silver eyes fixed on him. "I did not come to them. They came to me." The feathered girl nodded vigorously, as if to confirm it. Joran rubbed his temples. "Look, you're not making this easy. Do you understand what this looks like? Smuggling, abduction. Does it look like abduction to you? Serenia interrupted softly, glancing at the children. Do they look afraid? That gave him pause. They didn't. If anything, they looked fiercely protective of her. Still he pressed on. So what, you're claiming some kind of universal babysitter? Serenia smiled faintly, almost sadly. Where I walk, the lost young come. Not by my bidding but by theirs. They sense what I am, and they choose. Middle the choosing. Despite himself, Joran found curiosity clawing at his duty. Later that cycle, off duty and unable to let it go, he returned to the detention sector. Through the one-way panel he observed. Serenia sat cross-legged on the floor, speaking in a low tone none of the recorders could catch. The wolfish cubs leaned against her side, the feathered girl perched on her knee, the reptilian hatchling curling in her lap. She touched each with gentle precision, calming, comforting. And then something strange happened. One of the wolfish cubs whimpered, clearly frightened by a nightmare. Serenia pressed her forehead to its fur and whispered something. The nightmare stopped. Instantly, Joran felt a chill. He entered the chamber. What did you just do? He demanded. Serenia looked up at him. I gave her what she needed. Assurance. Safety. It is what I do. That looked like telepathy, Joran accused. Not quite, she replied. It is resonance. The young, before the world hardens them, are open to it. They can feel truth without words. And if they feel safety, they stay. Joran studied the cubs. They were all refugees, he realized suddenly. Orphans scattered from ships that had docked in recent weeks, children lost in chaos, species thrown together by war and displacement. And all of them had chosen her. Why? Joran whispered, more to himself than her. Why you? Serenia's gaze softened. Because humanity forgets, officer. So do the old races. The young remember instinct. They know who would never harm them. They know who carries the spark of protection. And they gather. Her words stirred something deep in Joran's chest, something he didn't want to admit. He remembered as a boy, losing his parents in a mining accident and clinging to the medic who found him. That desperate need for safety. That instinct to trust. Rising conflict. But the station authorities weren't impressed with mysticism. A council hearing was scheduled to decide what to do with Serenia and her followers. Some argued she was manipulating them. Others worried she was some kind of cult leader. During the hearing, representatives from the children's respective species were present. The wolfish younglings clan demanded their return, as did the winged child's delegation. Yet when station attendants tried to separate the cubs from Serenia, chaos erupted. The children screamed, bit, clawed, and refused to leave her side. One even fainted from panic. The chamber descended into uproar. Finally, Serenia rose. Her voice, though quiet, cut through the din. You see. They choose. I. Not you. Them. Silence fell. Counselor Vess, a rigid insectoid, slammed a claw on the table. This is unacceptable. Children must be returned to their kind, not allowed to attach themselves to strangers. And yet they suffer when torn from me, Serenia said, eyes flashing. Will you ignore the truth before your eyes? Or is order more important than life? The words struck the chamber like a blade. Joran, standing at the perimeter, felt something stir in him. He had sworn to uphold order, but looking at the cubs clinging desperately to her, he wondered what order meant if it destroyed what these children had chosen. Climax. The test. The council decreed a compromise. The children would be kept apart from Serenia for one cycle, monitored under station care. If they adjusted, she would be declared irrelevant. If not, her claims would be considered. The separation was agony to watch. The wolfish cubs wailed until hoarse, the reptilian refused to eat, and the feathered girl smashed her wings against the walls until bloody. Serenia, confined, seemed to wilt as if feeling every cut of their grief. Joran couldn't bear it. Against orders, he visited Serenia's cell. "Why does it hurt them so much?" he asked. She looked at him, silver eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "Because when they chose, they bound themselves. Not with chains, with trust. And trust, once broken, is a wound deeper than flesh." That night, Joran made his decision. He hacked the locks, releasing Serenia quietly, and guided her through back corridors to the chamber where the cubs were held. The moment the children saw her, their cries ceased. They rushed into her arms, clinging, trembling but calm. The resonance of peace spread through the room like a wave. Joran watched, heart hammering. He knew he'd broken the law. But he also knew he'd done the right thing. Ending. A new path. The next morning, chaos erupted when the council discovered Serenia with the cubs again. Demands were made for Joran's arrest. But something remarkable had happened. Word had spread. Other orphans, lost children from ships docked at Calderis Prime, began finding their way to Serenia. A feline youngling from the outer rim. Plant-like sproutling. Even a tiny human child whose parents had died in a pirate raid. One by one, they joined the circle around her, quiet and unafraid. The council could not deny what the entire station now saw. Serenia was not a trafficker, nor a manipulator. She was something rare, something ancient. A keeper of the young. In the end, Calderis Prime established a new ward, unofficially called the Haven, where Serenia lived among those who chose her. Joran, reassigned to oversee security there, often found himself standing watch, not as guard but as ally. One evening, as the children slept in a tangle of fur, feathers, and scales, Joran asked her quietly, "Will they always choose you?" Serenia gazed at the sleeping forms, her expression soft with infinite patience. "Not always. Some will grow strong enough to walk their own paths. But until then they need me. And I need them." Joran nodded slowly. For once, he didn't think about law or protocol. He thought about the boy he had once been, scared and alone, waiting for someone to choose him. And he understood.